Alright, y'all, this is another video I'm doing. I'm doing it on my telephone pole, and doesn't matter what you take, any type, N scale, HO scale, doesn't matter. You can do the wooden ones too. You can do the plastic ones like I'm doing. And basically all you gotta do is just go up there, pull them apart. I'll just do one right here. Twist it off or cut it off. And what I do is I take my little razor blade, or my actual hacksaw blader here from where I cut my track and everything. I just kind of score this a little bit, going around in a circle. Just keep going around. Kind of give it a little grooves into it. Just kind of get a little grooves to it and all that. Now just do it all the way around. Even make sure you get the whole pole like that. And what I do is I use this dip in water and take a little Brillo pad like this right here and just kind of scrub a little bit to get all the little plastic pieces off. Make sure all of them are off. It gets a little grooves in it to make it look like wood. Then the next process I do is I take my regular earth color paint, which is cocoa sand, which is basically my earth color base actually, and I just take a little mini brush and I just dip it in my paint. The next process I do is I go up here and start at the bottom. I always leave the piece of plastic on the bottom at first to help hold it when I'm flipping around. Now all I do is just take it and do the bottom part, and all my paint is already it's already watered down, and basically all I do is just start at the bottom, make it kind of thick, and work my way up a little bit against the pole, pulling it towards the top of the pole itself. I don't go all the way up with it, but just enough to give it like a little weathering technique here. And as you see, the shiny spot right there is what she looks like. You can see right there, and as it goes up, it fades out. And then what I do next is I let that dry. Let it dry for a little, for probably, I'll say, an hour, give or take. And then the next process I go with is light gray. It's a light gray mixture, and I use a different brush. And then I go up there and I take the bottom part right here that I haven't got done, it's still wood looking color. I take the light gray that's already been mixed with water. I start at halfway at the bottom and work my way up to the top, working the sides all the way around, almost back down to the bottom. I get, like I said, just make sure it dries really good. That's a light gray color that I use. Just basically light gray with mixed with water, and that's all. And I go all the way to the top, and I let that dry for about an hour. Then the next process is I go up there and I actually cut the bottom off with my blade, basically, we get one that's not been done yet. I'm going to work around that for my next one I do. Basically, I just go up here, put my saw real close to it, and just work the plastic piece and keep my saw still. Just work the plastic piece itself back and forth until I cut it in half, or actually all the way off. I take the Brillo pad, just clean it off a little bit, and that's after I get it all painted and everything. And let it dry for, like I said, for about another hour, so that's 2 hours drying time after the first coat and second coat. And then the next step is, after that's all dried, it looks like this. Like it's almost like a light gray, and you can actually see the little wood grooves or little grooves that you did with your actual saw, where you were going back and forth on it. You can actually see the grooves in it. And what I do after that is I take the Brillo pad and just work back and forth a little bit, going around. Don't have to touch the very bottom, just do the top part. Just enough so you can still see some of the gray coming through. And wish I can zoom in a little bit better, but I can't. You just want some of the brown to come through a little bit there. Trying to see if I can get to a spot. Yeah, like right here, you can actually see the brown coming through right there. And I've still got some of the gray and some of my earth color still down at the bottom, and the gray going halfway up to the top right here. And the next process I do after I sand them down is I go up there and take plain flat paint. Take these little mini brushes, and just basically dipping in there. Flick off a little bit. And I basically just take and just barely touch the little side pieces going from the pole up to the wooden part. Taking your time. These little brushes come in handy. You can actually get these at the craft store, right there where the model cars and everything are at, for fine detail work. They're pretty good. And also take the tips right here, just touch the black on them, because once the wire goes on there, they're going to already be black. You do both sides, and you just let that dry overnight, since it's not mixed with no water or anything. Or you could let it set for another hour if you want to, but I recommend letting it dry overnight. That way it definitely gets hardened. And basically it'll look just like this right here. Everything's black, both sides. I went ahead and did a couple of them already, as you see. That's basically all I do. And like I said, after you already cut the bottom of them off flat, you just drill a little small hole in your bench work. But that right there will be another video I'll do when I add them to my layout, as well as doing the wire that I'm going to use, which you'll be amazed what type of wire you can use for that right there. So until next time, see you.